Ooh, soon, my pretty. Happening, folks? Welcome back to the New Motorcycle Garage. Today we are trying to progress the XS750 build a little bit. So we've got this all set, ready to go. I need to get these boxes unpacked, get it all laid out onto that table, clean that table a little bit, get that generator out of the way. That's a bane of my life at the moment with parts not fitting. But anyway, get all that out of the way, get it all laid out, and then run through what we need to do on this build. This is as much of a lesson for me and a reminder for me because things were progressing quite nicely on this build before I moved house. And once we moved house, things started to take a bit of a back seat and lost space in my garage, lost everything else. So past few videos have just been focusing on me driving forward, getting the garage sorted, getting updates and everything else. So this one again will be quite useful so I can figure out where we're at, what needs done. A lot of the mods on the frame needed, they were put on whilst the frame was on two wheels. There'll be bits probably where that needs turned on its back and welded a little bit, and just make sure everything we've got is as good as we can be before it goes off to powder coating. Well, not powder coating, it's probably going to go vapor blasting, and then probably going to do the painting here. But yeah, really it's just going to be laying things out. Probably not show you that because it'll be boring as hell, but once it's all laid out, you can start running through all the parts I've got and just set a game plan for the next few months and how we can really get this bike pulled together quickly. So stick around, should hopefully be kind of interesting, and yeah, let's do it. As you can see, I've still not sorted my light situation out because of my emergency light, so if we get a power cut I might be in the doghouse if I've used all the emergency light battery. But anyway, less of that. So all the bike's laid out, and it's quite good actually running through that process of just laying everything else out on the table there, because I had forgotten quite how much had progressed on this. So it's in quite a good place really for what I need to do next. I think what I'll probably do is just run through key areas, just to make it, talk it out loud, bit of sense in my mind. But we have the bare bones of a bike behind us. Frame's quite well progressed, so as we thought. I think what I might do is just commit to getting the frame put over to the vapor blasters and get that cleaned up, have a look at it then. It's pretty okay, I think. There's a lot of I'll do some close-ups, but there's a lot of just surface corrosion, but the frame feels really solid. I think it's all exactly that, just surface corrosion, just because there's parts that have maybe not been painted, and so I want to see how that cleans up. If there's any areas for concern, I don't think there will be, but until it's all paint's all taken off it, yeah, I could get at it with an angle a brush attachment, a wire brush attachment. But to be honest, the guy John does really good work, so I'm just gonna put it his way and see if we can get some indications as to what it looks like. But really, yeah, the framework was mostly completed. All the bits and pieces that needed to be done, I kind of put a good effort in on that, and it wasn't really anything drastic to do on that bike. It was shortened back end slightly, a brat style loop, a few mounting points for the battery box, and then a few mounting points added for the what do we call it, the side panels. So, and the side panels, we got they're further than I remember as well. I almost got one completely done, just needed prepped for paint. So that was good. I found one for the other side that was all been cut, so just need to make a few brackets for that. Side panel, that was a long haul. That was a bit of a process getting it sorted. had some cheeky bastard commenting saying, not understanding my Scottish accent on one of the videos, but you know, what can you do? Okay, the new prick. Anyway, there was also maybe a contentious point, I don't know. I got my scrambler powder coated in a condensed time frame. My sprayer at the time, the guy, he's still probably going to spray this tank if I can get it to him in a timely fashion, but he was asking why I was using powder coating. This is, bearing in mind, this is a guy that sprays custom motorbikes for a living, but he was like, why the hell he was in powder coating? It's for park benches and handrails. So I know that may not be a shared view, but it's one that after I had a few bits powder coated, and then maybe no shade on the guy that I used to powder coat, but maybe the powder coating process, they were pretty early on in that, maybe it wasn't as good as it could have been. So in the quest for trialing different coatings and going back to a little bit of what can I do in house, I did a lot of research around various paints to use, and quite fancying a silver frame for this bike. Silvers, whenever I see a silver frame on a bike rather than a black or something else, I just think it stands out quite well. Especially the frame's bonny looking. It's not a featherbed frame, but it's not a, is that the right one? It's a unique, it's an old school frame where the engine sits within the frame. Got a nice bone line across the top beneath the tank, so quite cool to accentuate that. So various paints I was looking at. See quite a lot of people use engine enamel, and this VHT one seemed to be pretty popular with primer as well. So I'm going to try my hand and try and paint that in this garage. I'll just set up a spray booth, get a heater going, see what we can do there. Quite interested to see how that works out, just because the powder coating that I had on the other one, the scrambler, there was a few runs in it that I didn't actually notice. So again, that maybe gives you an indication of the quality control of that potential powder coater, but still something that I want to give it a try, see how it goes. And with that, I guess paint, so the frame, get that back from powder coating, not powder coating, get it back from vapor blasting, and then have a quick look, see if there's anything else that I need to quickly weld up. I've had a quick look at it there. I think we're in pretty good shape, to be honest, but still worth checking. And then get that probably painted, then wrapped up. I'm thinking out loud here, so bear with me. But I do need to make a seat pan, and I was going to make it out of carbon fibre because I've got a lot of carbon fibre for various projects. So I've got some carbon fibre here, so I was quite tempted just to make the seat pan out of carbon fibre for no reason other than it's there, and I don't know, see how it works out. Made a few with fiberglass, but might as well see the process. I know a few people do that these days. I think if I've got all the equipment there to give it a try, then why not? But the seat frame, that's okay. Battery box. Oh, talk about this in a second. Talk about that in a second. This lighting's pish, isn't it? Battery box. That was all done, so I guess the only thing maybe to consider, yeah, I put a little lip on here, so I need to put something on here to allow it to engage into the lip and keep it down, and then a more robust mechanism to fix this at the back before it all gets dismantled, and TIG weld this all properly. I think that's maybe the last thing for that frame. Thinking back. Engine had been, I'll whip the box out for this later, but the engine had been bored out, the cylinder had been bored out to 8 something or another. Not as much as the 850, I think it was 838 to get the XS850, XS750, so this had been bored out. I'd bought bigger pistons and everything for it because the engine was apart, so I need to rebuild the cylinder head. Might get the cylinder head and cylinder block sent away for powder coating. The bottom end, just bear with me. Oh God, sweet delicious nectar. The engine is here under this, so bottom end, I really can't be asked stripping that all the way down and rebuilding it, so I'm gonna try my hand at seeing if I don't need to do that, because I just can't be asked. I'd like to, I'll do it for the other XS engine that I have, but I just don't know, I'm a little bit, I wanted to get on with this. It's always going to be a gamble because I don't know whether it's ran or not. Well, it did run before it stopped, but with a lot of these things, they all stop for a reason. But let me know in the comments what you would do. I'd like to get this bike on the road this year, and by having to go and strip apart the bottom end and everything else, it's just something else, probably more time consuming than anything else. I mean, it would be good lesson learning for me and everything else, but God, I said else a lot, but I don't really think that I need to do it. I'd like it to be sprayed silver as well, and the cylinder block and cylinder head and rocker cover, they'd all get vapor blasted and be put with a clear coat on them or whatever, just to keep that colour. But I had no intentions of, which may or may not backfire, so I'm gonna say no at the moment, but let me know if that's stupid. My biggest concern is time frame, just a little bit with the cleanliness of this place. I know I'm waiting to put a cylinder head back together, get all nice new valve stem seals and everything else for that, but still, I don't know, I really don't know. There's that other XS behind me, so if all shit hits the fan, I could just, I've got another bottom end that I could swap out, and that's the Panther build, so rob Peter to pay Paul type thing. But yeah, we'll see. None of these bikes are there's no plan to sell them, they just plan to tinker on them and run around in them, so not the end of the world if something like that does happen. I've got other bikes that need to get MOT'd and on the road this year, so, but I would quite like this one. This one's got a lot of sentimental value for me. I think it would be awesome just to have it and ride around in it, so we'll see. Okay, so that's the engine, but the top end and the bottom part of the engine, so once I clear a bit of space, I could probably find myself working on them, getting that rebuilt, I'm pretty sure. So I've got gasket kits, I've got everything I need to get that back together. Like I said, this is as much for me as anyone else, so if you're bored, I'm sorry, but people seem to watch this, so. Next, forks. I have various forks. I've got two sets of originals. Between the two sets, I've got stanchions that will do, that don't need re-chromed. Remember this bike, the target was not to go and spend lots of money on it. It was just to get this bike built back together. Hopefully spend less than a couple of grand on it and end up with a cool looking thing at the end of it. So, stock suspension. I've also got an FZR front end that was due to go in the Panther build. I don't really want to rob that yet because I need to get a new stem and everything. With this I can just get the original shocks put back on, maybe with uprated internals, I'm not sure yet. Same with the rear, there's various sets of rear shocks about. There looks like a decent set on the Panther build, but there's also other cheap shitty ones that I bought that I'd rather try and pick up a set of second-hand Hagons or something just to go on with the right spacing or close enough spacing. Yeah, so we'll see. Mud guards, they're built already. One's 3D printed and coated in epoxy to strengthen it up. One's made out of carbon fibre. The rear is made out of carbon fibre. That will hug nicely in the back, and I've got mounting points for them as well, which I've already made, which are over here, not with everything else yet. So, anyone remember me making these little bits? So, got everything there. Brakes, same, original brakes. I think I'd rebuilt some of the original brakes. 70s brakes may make me quickly change my mind and uprate, but the whole point here is to try and get someone to tinker with and play with, so I'd like to try and get it together in a timely fashion. What else have we got? What else have we got? The rear def final drive, I think it's called, needs rebuilt. Numbnuts here decided to take it apart, and you can lead down the path of, you don't really want to change from the original gearbox and everything else. There was just a few seals that I needed, so everything else looked alright if I remember correctly. So I just want to get that back together, get the right O-ring seals that I need, and just rebuild that, and hopefully I haven't fucked up anything along the way. So the battery box here has seen better days. It's also been used as a storage container, but that just needs tidied up, and it needs some mounts put on the bottom to allow it to fit onto the frame. The frame's already had the mounts put on. Wheels, 18-inch front wheel, 18-inch rear wheel, got tyres to go on as well. So, and wiring the whole thing up. I've got a kit from NWT that I bought in one of their sales. What is it again? The value kit. So do a little video on that. Not used it before, quite looking forward to using it. It's all integrated system. The other bike's got the axles used thing, I think, the other XS. So looking forward to trying this NWT from Alan over in Ireland, NWT Europe. So put a link in the description, check them out as well. They're pretty good for the whole bike building community, and the products are built to suit the likes of hobbyist builders such as myself and Sugarly Shed and all these other dudes. So yeah, it's looking forward to trying that. What else? Did I mention the tank? The tank I don't really want to do much with. Again, I'll drop that off when I drop the frame off. The issue with powder coat, not powder coating. What's wrong with you? The issue with vapor blasting is it like any coating where you take anything back to its raw material, it oxidizes really quick. So John typically puts some just a coating on it, either ACF50 if we're going to not have to paint it, or if it's going to get painted, you'll sometimes put primer on. But what will be important with that is just understanding if he is going to do that, because the period of time from finishing, because I don't want to get it vapor blasted and then bring it back here and it sits in this garage and oxidizes. Similarly, I don't want something coated in ACF50 or something that could potentially impact the paint surface that's going on as well. There's quite a good time to put a primer on, or something, just like a rust inhibitor that doesn't impact future painting. But the tank is obviously a little bit grubby, and it's also got, I don't know if you can see it on this side, it's also got there was a filler that cover up that previous owner had done. So want to see what that looks like after the fact, because I'm not gonna do anything with the tank. I thought about changing the fuel tap and the fuel tank, what do you call it, the petrol cap, not American, gas cap. The petrol cap filler, I was going to change that on this bike. Again, can't really be bothered. Oh, question, anyone who's still watching, 16 minutes into a rant, should I lob this off or not? The steering lock, I don't even know if I have the key anymore, so that may or may not impact whether it stays. But if I've not got the key, sometimes get the number off the side. Number of the lock, don't see anything. I might just take that off and put a little plate on it and pretend it was never there. Maybe that might have to get done before it goes to the vapor blaster. I'm gonna stop this video and start it again because my GoPro's been a little turd and keeps deleting videos. So oh, dry January's over. I didn't even do dry January. Exhaust. There is an exhaust that came with the bike. It looks fine. Probably it'll do. It'll absolutely do. I'm hesitant to spend money on things I don't need to spend money on for this build. Happy to throw it at, the seat, sorry, we'll go back to that. Happy to throw it where it's needed. So like professional paint job, you can tell if you've done your own paint, which is okay. but I strongly believe that that is a differentiator in a bike. So I think I could probably, for the vast majority of keen eyes, do a decent enough finish. I've got horrible standards, horribly high standards myself, so if it's good enough for me, then probably it should be okay for a lot of people, hopefully. That sounds really presumptuous, but I do have quite high standards with my own quality of work, hence why everything takes so long, and I'll ache and agonise over a bracket that no one's ever going to see, but still, that's just the way I am and the way I approach these things. So things like paint, things like upholstery, where that's quite a large percentage of the bike, those are things that I think outsourcing them is okay. Spending a little bit of money to get them right is okay, and I think I will be doing that for this build. Really want to try the frames and stuff. I know I said already that paint, so I'm quite keen to try that and see what I can do, because that itself, I don't think I can cock that up so bad that someone will go, oh look, he painted that frame himself. Obviously, God, you got all the runs. Would be better powder coat in it. No, that's not the point. There's bits that I think that I can attack that would be good, just to try and keep in house for future builds potentially, or yeah. So where are we? Seat. That was it. Upholstery as well. So the person that made my seat on the Scrambler, someone's gonna lose their shit when they see the dust. Oh, the dust on this. My bad. I should have got a dust cover. But that was done by a professional, French Touch Upholstery they were called, in Aberdeen. Really, really good. Was looking forward to just getting a good working relationship for all the for all the builds I've churned out over this time. No, it's handy to have people close by. I believe there's some other people local now. How good they are, I'm not sure. You've got guys like Tom Hurley are really good, have a really extensive waiting list, and to be honest, if I want this bike this year, I may have missed the boat for the waiting list. So I'm going to try and find someone local. If I can get my seat pan made, I might even go as far as getting the foam and everything, shaping the foam, and then all I need to worry about is the top bit, which is the cover, and making that nice and pretty. So that will be that. I guess the only other thing, make it sound so easy, but it's still a huge amount of effort and energy needed here to try and put this together. But the other thing would be all the bits and bobs and all this kind of shit are in here. That's all there. Starter motor, I had one taken apart, rebuilt, painted black. That's to go in the Panther build. I might just try and YOLO this again and have a kickstart, because it has got a kickstart on it. Don't know if that's a horrible idea. I don't know if that impacts my wiring. I guess the only thing it impacts is that takeoff point from the starter solenoid. So whether or not we definitely need a starter solenoid or not for that bike, I'm not sure. Like for the NWT wiring system, need to figure that one out. But carburetors, I did have a couple of rebuilt carbs. Anyone that saw the fire video knows that the carbs being a pain were why that. Well, there's probably multiple issues. Ignition system on that bike as well. I do have an electronic ignition Yamaha standard. I also have an electronic ignition from Neutronics. So I need to figure out what's going on with that, because the Neutronics one maybe saw a little bit of fire damage. Whoops. So whether that one's still in okay shape or not, that may be something I have to buy again. Someone messaged me the other week saying the Neutronics one only worked in a certain era of XS, so if it was already an electronic ignition then it wouldn't work, which I find hard to believe. Maybe it's, why would you change a already electronic ignition with another one? Lights, sorry, I'm rambling now. I will probably use this video to go back and make a list. It's unusual for me to watch my videos after I submit them, because I think it's weird, but I may actually go back and have a look at this. Lights, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for lights, tail lights, headlight, probably just additional headlight. Don't see why not. Smallish, 5.5 inch, maybe a little bit bigger. That's pretty big. So we'll see. Don't know. Anyone else got a build on at the go at the moment? Any? I was gonna potentially try and get this ready for shows. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'd rather focus on getting a bike ready to ride around on, and if there's a show it could go to, take it to the show, rather than doing it the other way around. For this year at least, just whilst I pick up my pace again in the garage and find my feet again, just gonna get the energy levels back for doing bits and bobs in here. So I fucking hate this part of the garage, but it's annoyingly the best lit section. So no, don't do anything else. You need to get started on this build. So I don't know, I think we're in pretty good shape. I think there's definitely a lot of stuff already done, which is a bonus. I had completely forgotten where I was at. For me, it's all about chipping away now, making that list, making the systematic list, making sure I don't. Ideally, I'd like to try and get the frame away and the tank away, probably the wheels as well, to the powder coater, because the wheels and the frame, it's one of those things where you want to get more, you want to get it moving, but you don't want to paint it too early because it's sat around the garage. Realistically, could it be done? Thinking out loud. This whole video is me thinking out loud. I don't know, there's obviously the right way to do things, or the systematic way to do things. Just need to be mindful of what that way is. Just looking at that scrambler. No, don't look at the scrambler. So actually, that being said, I think once I start getting bits chipped away here and moved and cleared, I'll start using the workbench a lot more. Get the scrambler off, put that somewhere there's going to be room for it, and then if I do get the frame, for example, get the frame painted and everything. Yeah, we'll figure it out, I guess. I don't know, weird video, sorry, not really that interesting, maybe it is. Colour scheme wise, I think I told you what I was going to do. This bike had been set on fire and it is risen from the ashes, so I'm going to call it Phoenix. I like having a name, it kind of gives a bit of a theme to the rest of the bike, like the Scrambles was a bit kind of shit name, but there was method to the madness. The Panther build has got cues from Nature's Most Badass Big Cat. This Phoenix is, if you imagine a phoenix, they rise from the ashes. So this bike's already been on fire, so I think it's pretty apt. So with that, I think I mentioned maybe the cues, the design cues for this was Singer 911, one of my dream cars, reimagined by Singer, the Porsche. There was a great video where Henry Catchpole rides around in one on somewhere in California, and it's blue. It's like this bluey colour with orange and tan and silvery hints. And then one day I was having a drink of Monster Energy. Oh shit, what one was it? Don't think I've got a tin laying around. There was a Monster Fiery something or another, and it's got this teal blue, orange, silver, that kind of theme again. So that's where I'm thinking I want to try and take cues from that. And then if you look at Phoenix, type Phoenix into Google, you'll get various images of phoenixes. Phoenixes with orange and orange, blue, silver, tan, like all these colours coming together. So it's not quite bottomed out yet. I'm probably need to, as I start to throw the bike together, just throw an image into Illustrator and play about. But those are the kind of themes I was thinking, trying to capture some of the things off my favourite car, that 911, some of the cues, and then just some of the some bright colours. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Customization. You just do do whatever the hell you want. It's your bike, it's your build. That's what I'm going to do. So hopefully it works out. It doesn't look like complete and utter dog shit, but I like the way that one looks, and there's a lot of time debating over that as well. So that poor thing, that needs some love. It's that's another one for another day. We're not going to do anything with that. We could get it on the road this year, but yeah, you know how it is. Everyone knows how it is. You only have enough energy to focus on certain things, and I want to try and get this thing behind me reassembled, turn it into a cool bike for sometime, hopefully this year. I'm not saying when. People called me out on that before, rightly so. Okay. Yeah, thanks guys. If you want to try and get more updates, please like, follow, subscribe. Don't subscribe. Don't care. Jesus, I do care. I do care. I like the people that are not dicks and have constructive things to say. So this video is for the likes of you, the viewer. Right folks, take it easy. See you in the next video. Kind of got a plan now. Bye bye.